That looks like bacon. We're bringing back the bacon series, and we're bringing it back big this time. I've made bacon from mushrooms, I've made bacon from carrots and parsnips. One of my favorite bacons is the daikon radish. But I think that bacon can be topped, because the second place bacon was my soy skin bacon. Now, when I did the soy skin bacon, I made the soy skin from scratch, and a lot of you recommended to just buy soy skin from the stores. Now, I did a little bit of testing with this, and wow, does it simplify the process. One, this soy skin is way easier to use. It's a lot more rigid, it has a little bit more of a durability to it, and it creates a better texture. Two, it gives you some options to create a little bit different texture and add fats where they're needed, like bacon has. So let's upgrade the soy skin bacon. We're taking bacon to the next level. This is going to be one of the best veggie bacons that I've made, and it's gonna be easy. So in the past, I've made soy skin. It goes by a bunch of different names. I just called it yuba. It also goes by bean curd skin, bean curd sheets, tofu skin, bean curd robes. It's all essentially the same thing. Now, if you haven't seen me make it, I'll leave a link in the card above to my jackfruit chicken video where I made soy skin and the original soy skin bacon. Those will both be in the cards. But essentially, it's really easy. Soy skin is made by boiling soy milk. A film forms at the top of the soy milk, and that film is pulled off and dried. That is soy skin. Now, soy skin is a form of tofu, but it's not technically tofu because tofu uses a coagulant and soy skin does not. It does it on its own. Now, tofu skin or soy skin has been used for hundreds of years. It was first documented in 1587 in a Japanese family's diary, simply explaining that tofu skin was the skin that formed atop of soy milk. Commonly, it's used in 3 different variations: fresh, dried, or fermented, and it's found in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean cooking. It was actually known to be used in some of the world's earliest meat analogs. Some of the earliest fake meats were made using tofu skin. So today's particular tofu skin that we're using is this one right here by Havista. It is a fresh frozen soy skin. It's gonna be a little softer, a little thinner, a more like what I've made here on the show, but a little bit more consistent and a heck of a lot easier to work with. So before we open up the soy skin, we're gonna make our bacon flavoring and we're gonna make a fat mixture that's gonna help kind of bind this together and really give this bacon its own fat. To make the fat for this bacon, we're gonna use a mixture of coconut oil and mung bean starch. Now, I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of the coconut oil, and we're gonna heat this up just to get it into its liquid form. So let's put this in the microwave real quick. So make sure when you heat this up, you only heat it up for a few seconds. If you go too long, it's gonna get too hot, and it won't gel with the mung bean starch. So just a few seconds. That's all you need. Okay, so now we have a liquid coconut oil. It's still cool, but it was enough to melt it down. It doesn't take a lot to melt coconut oil. Now, with any sort of starch, normally you would add starch with a liquid, kind of like wet it down. We're just gonna go a little bit at a time, slowly trying to incorporate the starch into the fat. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with some starchy clumps. And we're just gonna keep adding the starch until we have a light white paste. Now, you can use a mung bean starch, you can use a tapioca starch, both of those are gonna work fine. I added around a teaspoon. So now that we have our fat, let's make our bacon seasoning sauce. This is gonna be a very similar bacon seasoning that we've done with most of the bacon videos. There's gonna be a few additions, so just watch for the changes. I'll leave the entire recipe in the description below and over at SauceStache.com. So we're gonna use some soy sauce, some vegetable oil, maple syrup. We're gonna use a brown sugar, liquid smoke, a dash of accent or MSG, just a dash. Now, you don't have to use this, you don't at all. This is just gonna really up the umami flavor, which bacon is loaded with. If you don't wanna use that, you can actually add a little bit of sun-dried tomato oil. That'll also help with rounding out some of the richness. Sweet paprika and garlic powder. We're just gonna tiny whisk this together, make sure all of the seasonings and powders are combined really well. Okay, let's give this guy a taste and see if we got the magic right. I believe we do. Wow, every time. Unbelievable. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a touch more liquid smoke because commonly I use smoked paprika. I wanted to use the sweet paprika because I wanted to make this, wanted to really round this bacon off. Flavor it how you see fit. That's the nice thing about this bacon. This is a nice bacon seasoning blend that you can use at home. That's gonna flavor just about anything to bacon. You can up or down the saltiness, the sweetness, the smokiness, however you see. I like just a little bit more smoky. So let's start making some bacon. This is going to be great. Now I'm gonna use just a sheet of parchment paper to lay my bacon out on. Okay, so these sheets are gonna come off. They are pretty thin. Just find the edge of the sheet. Now the way I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna give it one whole fold over. Now, it's okay if it's not perfect because bacon isn't perfect. We're just gonna kind of press this down. Now we're gonna bring in our fat, and we're not gonna put this over the whole thing because that will kind of slow down the way that it sticks. We want it to all stick together and layer up really nicely, but we do just wanna add just a touch of this coconut starch into almost the middle of it. We're just gonna fold over, press this down. Just gonna give it some layers. Fold up the edges. Gonna give it a little brush of the coconut oil starch mixture. So at this point, all we're gonna do is just toss it in the flavoring sauce, give it a few tosses back and forth, not much, let it drip, and there's one of our bacons. Let's move on, let's make a few strips. We'll probably make about a half a dozen of them, and then we'll get to cooking these things up. This is gonna be so good. So we don't need much oil because this bacon already has oil in it. So I'm just gonna drop a little bit of oil in a medium-sized skillet. I'm gonna use an iron skillet on like a low heat. Just wanna heat it up real even for just a few minutes. Now the soy skin bacon was always one of my favorite bacons. Daikon bacon really is number one, but the soy skin always had a place in my heart. The problem with it was it was so hard to make. This version of it goes along really quick. I mean, this only took a few minutes to put together, and I'm telling you, this is gonna be a pretty dang good bacon. So now that the pan is warming up, I'm just gonna pinch just a little bit of salt across all of the bacon, and I'm gonna do a few turns of black pepper across all these because I like a nice peppery bacon, but that's up to you. I think it's good. You can already see how this is gonna come out. It's wild. It smells like bacon in here. Once they're crisps up and they curl up, it's gonna be pretty incredible. So the pan's ready to go. Let's just drop these in. We're just gonna do a few at a time. I'm gonna drop them in with the pepper side up and let these guys cook. We're just gonna let them cook for a minute on each side, flipping them over. We're gonna probably have to keep flipping them over until they're crispy. Okay, so these are all done. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the remaining bacon sauce that we have, and I'm just gonna give them just a real light brush of the sauce, just to add that extra baconiness. So these came out, they look pretty awesome. I mean, look at that. That looks like bacon. So, I mean, I know for the most part this isn't the best looking one that I've done, but it does have a nice bacon look to it. Has a nice bacon crack to it. It has a nice like bacon. Now this should crack perfectly. And just like bacon, there's some fat in the middle. I mean, how wonderful is this? That looks like bacon. If this was on a sandwich and somebody didn't give it like a really close inspection, they might think it's bacon. Okay, here it is. Cheers to bacon, baby. It's good, right?
Good, I like it. It has the crisp and then the chewiness in the center. It's just really delicious.
You think if that was on a sandwich, you would be happy?
Definitely.
Might not look exactly like bacon like Daikon bacon does, but the flavor and the texture and the taste, this nails it.
It's delicious.
My God. Thanks, baby. So gang, all the members that are listed over here on the side, they're the members of the Sauce Squad. You can join the Sauce Squad for only $1 a month. There's been a bunch of you that have been joining lately, so I just want to say how much I appreciate it. I thank you guys. It really means a lot. If you haven't yet, make sure you click the subscribe button and click this video right here. This is gonna be the bacon playlist series. You get to see all the bacons that I've made. Heck yeah, bacon. My gosh, that is so good.